Okay, I think we can start this this program. I have asked my staff to organize this. So uh, my staff si Arlita Pinero coordinated with SPSPS, and it's very we are fortunate that SPSPS is willing to give us this kind of seminar over this system. And Dr. Alcala, we would like to thank you very much for your generosity. And so I would like to ask Dr. Pinero, may stop si Erlita? Can we start with a word of prayer first before we begin? Let's have a word of prayer. Oh, wala yata ah.
Of peace and progress. Pardon us for our shortcomings.
Signal. Wah, no. Mute lang ko ba?
Risking daily their own health and safety for others. Please protect them from harm, give them courage and strength. Draw close, Lord, and let them feel your presence throughout the long hours they are working. Father, please provide everything they need, both for the people they are serving and for their loved ones. Surround them with people who will help and support them and their families, even as they selflessly care for others. You said we would face troubles in this world, but also that you had overcome it. Lord, please help us as we work together amid this coronavirus pandemic. Bless our efforts today. And we offer this to you, Lord, for your greater glory. All these we ask in the mighty name of Jesus, our Lord. Amen.
God, no sound.
Dong. Bukan sih dong, ini. Oh, bukan mati. Sudah.
Sir George?
Good afternoon to everyone.
Afternoon.
First of all, I would like to introduce our speaker for this afternoon. Currently, he is a full-time professor at the St. Paul School of Professional Studies, and he handles entrepreneurship management and marketing courses in the school. He finished his business administration course at the University of the Philippines in Diliman, cum laude, and his master in innovation management and entrepreneurship at the Temple University in Philadelphia, USA, as a Fulbright scholar. May I introduce to you Mr. Barnett, Professor Barnett C. Balberia.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and I hope you are safe and your family is healthy as well. First, thanks for Sir Erwin as well as the Ched for inviting me to share our practices in St. Paul's, and we're happy that we can also help each other in terms of learning in this new normal. So, basically, for today, I'll go through you with trying to understand how is it with learning with LMS or the learning management system. So we'll try to understand how LMS or the learning management system can enable blended and a fully virtual learning capability for our student as well as for the school. And based from just an introduction on what an LMS is, basically it is a collaboration software or a platform that is used to facilitate blended or hybrid, a mix of offline and online, or a fully virtual online learning. And it connects the instructor and the students to share documents, monitor grades, manage active enrollments and assignment submissions. At the same time, facilitate message correspondence between the students and the instructor and whatever is contained in the course. So basically, there are a lot of LMS platform available for us to use, open source or subscription based. We have the kinds of Moodle. They have also Canvas, Edmodo, Blackboard, and Google Classroom. So in SPSPS, basically, even before COVID, we are already required by our president to use and integrate LMS in the delivery of our course. So, well, before we are only given independence onto choosing what is best for us to use. We've used Moodle, I explored Edmodo, but with my experience with handling classes at the same time in the US, I found Canvas as the fit to our institution's need. So we've been using Canvas since 2018. So from then on, we're able to facilitate a blended learning as well as mixing it with our traditional ways of doing things. So why are we shifting to LMS for SPSPS? Because we see the benefit of having this kind of platform to really help also our student. One, it helps us transform learning. If before we're limited to just face-to-face class, traditional approach, with LMS, you can actually learn anytime, anywhere. So the thing is, students just have to have access with the internet and their gadget, and anywhere they are, anytime, they can still facilitate their own self-paced learning. Another why we do this, because we see a potential of increased retention rate. Before, usually we teachers are quite reactive. So unfortunately, most of us, when it comes to grading, it's already too late for us to do something about our students' performance. But with LMS, it has also a tool that allows us to be proactive in terms of predicting who among the students might have a problem and in what aspect of our course delivery are they having trouble. So that's also an advantage for us. Another is, we've seen that with LMS, there's a higher student engagement among our students. Before, our approach is very traditional. So one size fits all. It's just always the classroom point of interaction. But with LMS, basically, it's personalized for students. So it's a different learning approaches for each student, and they can learn at their own pace. So we limit the barrier that learning has to be in the classroom. We now open the opportunities that as long as where they have connections, they're comfortable to learn, they can do and manage it on their own. Another is we see a higher pedagogical flexibility. Before, again, we're limited to a monotonous type, classroom-based teaching following a routine program. An LMS allows teachers, instructors to really apply different learning models or techniques, such as gamification or flipped classroom learning. And lastly, which I also like, is better parental involvement. LMS has an opportunity to really engage parents to know the performance of their children. If before, teachers are the full responsible for the learning of the students, LMS can actually provide a shared responsibility with parents when it comes to monitoring their children's performance. So there is a capability aspect.
Oh my God.
Can we mute the microphone, please? Anyway, now, for a while, can I request please to mute the microphone of some participants?
Off lang ako microphone.
Susa Magno,
My God.
kindly off your microphone. Turn off your microphone, please. Who is Jesus Magno? From what school?
From BSU, sir, Visayas State University.
Oh, yeah, will you kindly mute your microphone, please? Oh, thank you very much. Okay. Sige,
All right.
Dr. Balberia, proceed.
So going back to the discussion, why we focus on Canvas with a lot of open source platform like Google Classroom, Moodle, or Edmodo, we look into Canvas because of some things that we figure out might be very helpful to our students. One, Canvas is a globally recognized LMS used by top universities in the world. So we see a good reviews from other universities using this platform, and we see this as an advantage. Another, it also uses tools within a modern interface. So basically, if you know how to use emails, if you know how to integrate videos, Canvas is an easier platform for you to explore. It's user-friendly, cloud-based online environment that easily connects instructors and students both in and out of the classroom. In fact, Canvas is available with an application. So a teacher can use a laptop or can use his mobile phone to access the LMS platform. And it has a better functionality in terms of managing enrollments. If you subscribe to Canvas, basically, your enrollment can be linked to Canvas. So automatically, your students can be part of the list of the students inside your course. So that also provides that kind of opportunity. Another is intuitive. So when we were trying to evaluate the platform, we have to make sure that students can learn it on their own. And just like technology now, it's very intuitive, like you can just explore things. And if you're wrong, you just have to go back. Canvas is also the same thing. If our 3-year-old nephew or kid or son would learn how to use a tablet, then any student will be able to figure out how to use Canvas. It's engaging because content-wise, you can add different materials, just like videos, podcasts, links to articles. So it gives you that kind of option. Dynamic as well, integration of other platform or other software is also very possible with Canvas. In fact, if you have an activity, you can link into a Google Sheet or Google Spreadsheet or Google Excel that students can collaborate with their projects. It's convenient. As I said, it can be accessed anywhere, anytime, as long as you log into Canvas or download the application. Accessible, and it has a free option. So for those who will be starting using Canvas, it's actually available for teachers to use with no fee, although there are some limitations in terms of functionality, but it still serves the purpose of using LMS. Now with SPSPS, when we tried to integrate Canvas in the school, we see learning possibilities that we can do with this platform. One is, learning possibility one is the ability for us to do blended learning. So blended learning, by the word itself, it's a combination of the online learning and the traditional in-person learning through lectures or workshops. So what we see as an opportunity is that the teacher role can be looked into as one is managing the LMS platform, and the students, on the other hand, can do a self-pacing modular learning through the platform. And now we see the conversion of contact hours of traditional in-person learning to something that is more impactful and meaningful. So we design our classroom interactions into something facilitative and high impact, so that when we see our students, we can use the time more efficiently and more effectively. So we take away doing quizzes on the classroom, because that could be possibly done in LMS. We also try to deload ourselves from looking into assignments during class interaction hours, but instead we maximize the opportunity to really reinforce the learning modules that we prepared for our students. So that's also one advantage that we see for blended learning. Another is the fully online learning. If students have full access to internet connection as well as gadgets and computers, then having or adapting Canvas or LMS can be possible to do a full online learning. So the teacher's role still is in managing content in Canvas, and students still can self-paced learn the module. As for the interaction, now we design high-impact virtual learning sessions, okay? And students will now look forward to these learning sessions, just like in Zoom meetings or WebEx meetings. Now the discussion shifts from the classroom to a fully virtual, but still meeting the guidelines and the standards set by the course. So we try to see this kind of possibilities. Now, just to show you a case study of how we use, or how I use Canvas in a course, I'm sharing to you my materials. So how do we integrate Canvas LMS with our school course delivery? So in my class, I handled ORMAN, or Organization and Management. This was my modules in the first sem of academic year 2019-2020. So this is what usually students will see, okay? Although I adopted it for the purpose of having a more recent look at the contents. So for students, they will see the home page. So this is what they will see when they access their Canvas account. On the right side, they will be prompted with the task to do. So they will know that they have deadlines to meet. Okay. So for us teachers, it is necessary that we always remind students, with the help of Canvas, that they have assignments and tasks to finish. Then announcement can also be look into the homepage, so that students will be aware what's happening in the course. So every time you put in announcement, they'll be able to pick it up immediately. Aside from the fact that they will also receive it in their applications or in their emails. So anything you do in Canvas, they'll have a prompt to the students to know. So there's no excuse of not being informed. So students will always be notified with any changes. Then you also have your course navigation buttons and your modules at the bottom. Okay. So what I do is that at one look, students will be able to navigate all the things that they would need in my course. At the same time, I put in my contact and consultation hours, so that whenever they have troubles accessing Canvas, or understanding the topics, they can easily reach out to me through my email or through my mobile phones. Of course, it's the discretion of the teacher what he or she will be willing to share to the students. But for me, I'm comfortable with sharing my contact information. Now, how do you do that? Because it is quite new and students still has to adapt onto using this kind of platform, I always start with getting started. So this is for me to orient my class on what are my policies and what are the requirements to pass and to get a good mark in this course or in this subject. So usually you see a button, a start button in my Canvas homepage, and if students click on it, they'll see my class policies and requirements. So basically, I ask them, these are the things that you have to do. In my course, I expect you to read. I have the materials with me. This is our textbook that we will be using. And I also give them the link to the file to the book. For doing this kind of approach, we teachers should provide the materials. I also ask them to watch videos that will supplement my topics in the chapter readings so that students have another reinforcement, not just by reading the materials. And at the same time, I also ask them to complete assignments or quizzes as part of their requirements or submission for my course. Another is posts, which is about discussion board. So usually when I do my classes, I ask them to read an article, then synthesize based from the concept that we discussed, then reply to it, and also critique their classmates' responses. So I have those kind of things. And attendance and participation, I'm also quite clear on to what they need to do. Even if it's online, you can still monitor participation and attendance and submission of the requirements. So that's getting started. Now, the other thing is the contents of the course. So one of the roles of the teacher is to compartmentalize the syllabus into what we call the learning modules. So with the learning modules at the bottom, you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buttons. These are module prompts. So in my case, if you enroll in my Orman subject, you will have 7 modules to finish the entire course. So I schedule them that you cannot access learning module 3 without completing learning module 2 and 1. So that you can pace your students' learning that they still follow the order of your modules. For example, learning module is a summary of what the students need to do in particular learning module. This includes the materials that they need to read, videos that they need to watch, articles that they need to synthesize, quizzes to take, assignment to submit, and other learning assessment tools required by the teacher. In my case, I usually divide it according to tasks. 1, what they need to read. Another, what do they need to watch? Then, what do they need to complete in this module? What do they need to post as a response or answer to my discussions? And what are the needs to be submitted as the assignments of my course? So it depends now on the teacher how you try to manage your class. But in my case, usually I follow these 5 steps or 5 tasks to do whenever I do my modules. So for instance, module 3, we look into module 3 of my course, Organization and Management. When students click that button, they'll be shown this outline. So they know that by module 3, they need to read this chapter from the book. They need to watch this video. They need to complete a quiz. They need to post a discussion. So now they'll be aware of what are the tasks that I need to finish for this particular module. Of course, you put a timeline on when they should finish these assignments or this task. So this is just an example of a module outline. For instance, pre-class quiz, you can do it in Canvas. Just make a quiz. It could be multiple choice, short essay, identification, matching type, any type of quiz, and it can compute grades automatically as how you try to desire it. So for example, if you do multiple choice, automatically the platform will correct and give the prompt to the students on what are the things they answered correctly or what are the items that they answered wrongly. So they can do that. In my case, for example, for me to make sure that they read the module, I usually assign pre-class quiz. So pre-class quiz are things about my readings, the videos that they watch. That's for me to monitor if they indeed took time to prepare for the discussion. So that's how I try to manage the class. Then I also do post-class. After the discussions, have they learned anything? So one way to measure this one is through a post-class quiz. So that's part of it. Another, assignment. So this could be an example of an assignment. So usually you type in what you want them to do, okay? If there's a case study, give them the materials, the link, provide the rubric so that they'll be aware also on how to perform or how will they be graded. As a teacher, as teachers, probably we know this, that rubric is a requirement all the time. For example, grading an assignment is also possible in the platform. So you will see on this side the submitted output. You will see on this side your rubrics. So you can grade them according to your rubrics. At the same time, comment on why or how did you rate them. Using LMS, it is very, very important that teachers take time to really provide feedback and comment on why they are graded that way. Because that's the only way for students to get if they are learning or if they met the requirements of the teachers. So it's always necessary for us to really give feedback for LMS. Now here's another discussion board. This is where I give them an article and things to synthesize to reinforce our module learnings. This way, they can collaborate. Collaboration is possible when it comes to LMS. So for instance, I post an article. I ask the students, what do you think about the author's point of view? Do you agree or disagree? Then link it to the class and discussions. At the same time, I try to ask them to comment on their classmates' responses. Do they agree with their classmates or do they disagree with their classmates? So we see the dynamics now of exchanging thoughts and ideas, even using the Canvas or the LMS platform. So collaboration is still possible with this kind of platform. So for example, this is some of the answers that you'll be looking into using discussion boards. Their classmates can comment and reply with their point of views, with their answers. So you can evaluate what grade should you give to your student. Grading is also easy. So you'll see the outputs on the left side, and you can also grade their outputs on the right side. At the same time, you need to give feedback for LMS to be effective. So this is our normal task in traditional learning, but can also be applied with LMS. Now, what are the pros and cons of using the LMS? Okay, because it's not easy if it's your first time, but it doesn't mean it's not doable. So these are the things that can be taken into consideration, the advantages and the disadvantages. One, with LMS, there's better facilitation of blended and hybrid learning. Another, we can now be able to connect with and engage students even beyond our classroom and set class times. We can work remotely anytime, anywhere. So if you have a meeting or conference to attend, learning does not stop there. So you can still monitor and try to feed into the LMS so that learning still continues wherever you are. You can keep track of class deliverables and requirements for teachers. And it's easier and faster assessment of learners and learning outcomes. So that's that's the advantages of using Canvas. On the other hand, some disadvantages that I've noticed, there is a high dependence on network connectivity. Being online has to be part of your routine because now you are managing your traditional classroom. At the same time, you're also looking into your online platform. For teachers, they may see it as additional task because there's another platform to manage. But again, at this time, it is how our students learn already, blending technology with traditional way of learning. There is the need to learn and to adapt technology faster, especially for teachers. You have to understand how to maintain your platform, how to troubleshoot it, how do you allocate resources, and other things. Our goal is to make things easier for our students. So we take steps further that our students will have a smooth experience using the platform. What are the challenges and birth pains with using Canvas or LMS? Basically, one, for students, consistent is accessibility. Okay, accessibility with internet, with gadgets, and with other things. So what I usually do, by the start of the class, I have a census. Who among them have smartphones? Who among them have laptops or computers? Who among them who have connectivity with internet? Then that's where we can come in. For St. Paul's, we're very happy that our president provides things that we need. So we provide free internet access if possible for students. At the same time, for those who have no gadgets or computers, we make sure that there are enough computer or learning resources at the library. So that's one of the advantages. Another for students, ICT knowledge and skills. Unfortunately, our students, not all of them knows how to use emails, to use Word, to use Excel, to use PowerPoint, okay? And it's a reality, but it should not stop us from still pursuing this kind of platform. So on our end, we try to do help desk or skills training so that we can reinforce our students' ICT knowledge and skills. Completion of tasks. This is very critical for teachers because if students are left to learn on their own, there is still a high possibility of procrastination. And that's a reality. Even as teachers or as administrators, we always have that moment of procrastination. So in this kind of situation, monitoring and evaluation is very critical, especially on the part of the teacher. There's a need to call students' attention, and you have to be proactive in terms of engagement and management of your students. Another is troubleshooting, okay? Because we are using this platform, students' go-to will be as teachers. So whenever things are not functioning well with their computers, with the platform, first point of contact is always the teacher. So in the part of the teacher, we always have to do upskilling of our technology skill. At the same time, in a school, we have dedicated LMS champions so that if things on the part of the teachers are not clear, they can still consult with LMS champions on what is the best way to move forward. So there's a combination of the teacher upskilling and the school providing another resource to help figure out things. So that's how we do it. On the part of the teachers, birth pains, one is the planning of content. Okay? Sometimes it's a way of trying to balance, do you provide a content that is too much or is too few? So on the teacher's part, it has to be consulted with their academic heads if this is enough content already or this is still too few as a content. Next, evaluation that we are aligning ourselves to the syllabus and to the standard of the school. Because while we are enjoying independence of planning our class, we still follow the syllabus and the academic standard of our institution. Another is to be able to facilitate this kind of learning, the teacher should provide all course materials to the students, including textbooks, articles, videos, website links, and others. Because, yes,
Dr. Balberia,
yes, sir.
just a minute. I still hear some sounds, probably coming from Perlin Silaine Licas. Perlin Silaine Licas from UEP. Yes. All the others, I have seen some people also who do not, who have not yet muted their system. Will you kindly check if you have muted your system so that we will not be bothered? I've been trying to wait for those who have not muted their system to mute their system, but apparently they have not sensed that. So I have to make it again. So this is for the convenience of everyone. We share the beauty of the lecture all on mute. Okay. So I think we were able to get some yeah, some people. Okay, Dr. Balberia.
All right. Thank you for that, sir. Again, the teachers in our school should provide all the materials needed by the student because we understand it's blended and they're on their own. So to manage the problem of access to materials, we actually provide them it at front. You can use Google Drive or you can use other platform to share those learning materials. Again, another is balancing of activities and workloads. On the teacher's part, you have to understand, is it workable for the students? Remember, they are working on their own. They are learning on their own. Okay, so we also have to understand what is workable and what is not workable for them. Another, of course, timely feedback. The only way for them to assess if they are learning the right things if we provide feedback to the students. So that's another challenge for LMS. Now, some traps and pitfalls to avoid if you try to decide on exploring this platform. One is not all classroom activities should be online. Okay, so that's number one mistake of teachers moving to this kind of platform. They think that what they do in traditional method is just simply uploading it online. That's not the case for LMS. Okay, you have to think about other dynamics that comes with learning in this platform. Next, give enough and reasonable time for students to finish the task without compromising your learning timeline. So since it's self-paced, okay, also you are managing your timeline for the course. You have to work your balance in terms of what task and how long should you give that task to the students. In my case, it's always a minimum of 1 week to do a quiz, to do an assignment. So, but it depends on the how taxing is the assignment or the homeworks. Another, set uniform deadlines. This case, I learned from my students that whenever they think of submission online, we have a consistent submission dates or deadlines. So that whenever I post something, we always understood that my deadlines are set at 11:59 p.m. Because if you do variable deadlines, it will create confusion on the part of the students. So for consistency, I set it end of day of weekdays. No weekends per request of the students. They don't want to be working on weekends, so I gave that the request for the students. So deadlines is always on a weekday at 11:59 p.m. Another is they too have other deliverables from other subject teachers. We have to be sensitive that we are not the only course they're doing online or doing a blended platform. So we have to work with other teachers to manage also the task with the students. So we have to be sensitive enough for catering the needs of our students. And experts blind spot. This is a usual pitfall for us teachers. Most of the time, when we give assignments or tasks, we think it's easy on our part. But the level of difficulty may be easy as for us teachers, but when it comes to our students, they actually are having a hard time figuring things out. So this is something that you have to avoid. So how do you make sure that when you try to devise or design an assessment, it is also reflective of what the students can do at their own? Lastly, so what are the points moving forward with using LMS as a platform? One, for LMS, the good thing about it is that contact hours is not just measured with actual class time, but of student engagement and learning both offline and online. So although we don't see them face to face, it doesn't mean that learning stops. So with LMS, it gives you that opportunity to be present either online and offline and be impactful to our students. Next, students really appreciate feedback a lot, as I've been telling also from the prior slides. And next, activities should cater to the multi-sensory needs of our learners today. We know that our learners are very technologically adept and their attention span is very small. So our task now is to feed them with materials or learning resources that will cater to the needs of having a multi-sensory stimulation. Another is, although it's blended online and self-paced learning, with LMS, collaboration is still possible. So students can still work with their classmates, can still work with groups. Another, expectation versus reality. For most teachers, what we think is ideal may not be perceivably real with students. That's also something that I've learned using Canvas. And self-check. If we make a requirement, are we sure that they can do it on their own? Or if you ask them, let's say a music video, a film, would you also be able to produce one? So have a self-check of, are you requiring them something that you don't even know how to do? So that's just also something to avoid. And work with other content experts when designing your class, because there might be things that are better in terms of approach that are fed by our other teachers rather than just working alone in designing your class. And lastly, with all technology and this platform, the best thing to do is don't be afraid to try and experiment, because the possibilities are limitless in this kind of technology and platform. It's just for teachers really to explore on how they can take advantage of these opportunities present at the moment. So basically, that's our experience in school with using Canvas. And I hope it's something that could be considered or could be looked into, and looking forward to things. Thank you very much and good afternoon. Any questions? If you have questions, the moderator is requesting to please type 1 at the chat box so he can acknowledge you.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you. Ma'am Jared Haram Celis of ESSU Giwan, please ask the question. Next is Mr. Ron Cesista.
Uh, Hello. Yes, good afternoon. May I?
Yes, please proceed. We can hear you.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon. I'm Jared from Esugiwa. We would like to ask how much does it cost actually to have this Canvas? Is this open source or do we need to pay for a certain subscription or installment?
Thank you for that, sir. Well, basically, you have two options for Canvas. One is an open source type, a free account. It's available for teachers and for students to use without limit, although they curtail some features that you can do with Canvas. There's also a subscription based, and it depends on the number of users, but and the needs of the institution. So you can actually connect with Canvas and Instructure so that they can look into the need of your institution.
Thank you very much.
Next, can we have Mr. Ron? Kindly unmute and please proceed asking questions.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm Ronald from Visual Tolosa. I would like to clarify, sir, because earlier you have mentioned that using Canvas can be done. Can be used for full online.
Yes, sir.
And considering that our students are really finding it difficult to connect to the internet, so this will create problem with those students, especially that this LMS is it utilizes heavy internet connectivity. So I'm asking if are there some other alternative that can be used or apart from Canvas?
All right, sir. In I'll speak on what I know first. So basically, in the school, okay,
Sorry.
we try to profile our students in terms of connectivity. So who among those have full connectivity? Who among those have partial connectivity? And who among those have totally no connectivity? And looking at their connectivity profiles, we actually design things. For no connectivity, the school is exploring the home-based type of approach. And for those with connectivity that could possibly access internet, then we push towards using the LMS.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I think that could be one of the first step that we can do to determine our students, categorizing them according to kung meron ba silang connectivity o wala, para din ma-plan out kung ano yung mga possibilities na pwede namin gawin doon. Sir, another question po doon sa online quiz. Kasi maybe we can have a problem on cheating with the online quiz. How in your particular experience, how did you manage looking at into this kind of issue?
Actually, sir, online cheating is always the risk of doing things online. Okay, and even users of this platform acknowledge that we can't stop our students from screenshot or our quizzes online and sharing it to their friends. Okay,
Yes, sir.
but we can always manage in terms of what kind of quiz will you provide to our students. If it's a short essay, if it's a short synthesis, then I think that's also difficult to really copy and just paste it to the quiz. But for multiple choice questions, the thing is maybe we could craft questions at our end for teachers that students have to really look into the readings and the resources that we had. Something that will look into a higher order thinking skills of answering the questions. But unfortunately, yes, it is not safe from cheating. But what we can do is manage our way of making a quiz that it will be still deliver our intended learning outcomes from our students.
Yes, sir. I would like to share, sir, no, if I may be allowed to share my experience, because my study is, so in my dissertation, I usually use a social learning media. Uh, it's like an LMS, but it's more like a Facebook thing, but its purpose is for learning. So what I did based on my experience dito sa issue on cheating was I'm providing some online quizzes, but I also do some follow-up quizzes as well in the face-to-face setup, just to make sure if they are really the ones answering the online quiz. It may be a parallel items, not exactly the items that I usually included in the online. Para lang ma-make sure na kung sila talaga yung nagsasagot doon sa online quizzes. Pero thank you, sir. This is also an interesting one, using Canvas. Yun lang yung problem ay the internet connectivity.
I understand, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Hello, next from SSU. Your turn po to ask question to Sir Barnett. From SSU, Daryl.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for
Yes.
acknowledging. I just would like to ask, because while the speaker is trying to discussing the thing about the Canvas, I tried to access the information online. I don't know if leading me to the right site. I'd just like to ask, sir, if you can provide to us the exact link of this site, so you could also explore, and if you can also provide us the link on like how to navigate and how to maximize these tools, would be appreciated, sir. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that, sir. Yes, I'll type in the link in the chat box. And in terms of materials to be used, if you want to explore on this, there are tons of materials in YouTube, as well as the learning platform for Canvas. So basically, because it's widely used globally, the scope of learning materials is really a tons and a lot of available information.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Next, we have from VSU Alang-Alang. From Visayas State University Alang-Alang. Please proceed with your question to Sir Barnett.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Actually, my question is not just directed towards our speaker, whom I appreciate for the new learning from us, faculty of higher education institutions. However, since I know our beloved regional director is with us, perhaps this can really be an input, not only to CHED in regional office number 8, but to the whole of the higher educational system of the country. That is providing opportunities for our students, uh, availability of internet connectivity, because most of the features of this learning management system that we cannot avoid if we are to move into the new normal would be really on maximum stable, should I describe, type of internet connectivity. So while faculty members can afford to perhaps provide their own, because we have this offers of internet service providers, like just an example, but I'm not advertising, the Globe at Home and other gadgets in the market. Um, so faculty can always afford, but for the students, I am not sure if students can afford. So again, I am giving this, expressing myself not just to our speaker, but to our leadership in Shed Region 8, but if possible to the national level. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. May we hear from Director Colorado for a response from the suggestion given by our from VSU Alang-Alang?
Yeah, we in our region, it is really a problem of infrastructure. So that will take a long time to be solved. In the meantime, we are pursuing this blended system, wherein sometimes we make use of one type, then we also do face-to-face, and we just don't know. I saw in the internet in Vietnam, what they are doing is the students are in the classroom, but they have face shields. Mga bata, elementary, no? They have masks.
Yes, sir.
And then they have face shield, and the teacher is just right in front of them, having the same equipment on herself, no? So we don't know what kind of adaptations we will need to do, but this kind of system, this LMS, is a free. I think this one is an open system. This Canvas is an open system, and it's free. That is my impression. Just like many other softwares on the open system that are available at a very minimal cost. So of course, people have to adapt to it. The schools have to adapt to it. The teachers will have to purchase their own computers. CHED is looking at a loan system can be made for the faculty and the students, but we will see about that. We are aware of the problem, and we are going to adapt to it. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Here is a question, Sir Barnett, in the chat box, which says, you mentioned you have used Moodle. What are the differences of the two between Moodle and Canvas?
Well, yeah, I actually used Moodle. What I observed is that between Moodle and Canvas, Canvas is quite straightforward in terms of how you populate your course. And with Moodle, I struggled in terms of navigating contents within the Moodle platform. So it's the same. If you understand Moodle, you'll be able to do it also in Canvas. But in terms of interface, I find Canvas as more straightforward as well as more user-friendly to the teacher as well as to the students.
Does Canvas have an app that students can install in their smartphone so students can use it offline?
Canvas has an app for both students as well as teacher, but unfortunately, you need to access the internet for you to really navigate in the application. So, but yes, it's available in both teachers and students. But for those using free accounts, there's a tricky part because when you download the app, you'll be looking into the free Canvas accounts. So you can't search your institution unless you are subscribed to Canvas, but you can still use the app. There's just a special way to download it.
Thank you, Sir Barnett. Next, we have from UEP, Perlin Tabale. You may now unmute and proceed asking questions. From UEP. From UEP, Perlin Tabale. You may now proceed asking questions.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. To Professor Barnett, thank you so much for that very informative and insightful discussions about LMS, emphasizing about the use of the Canvas. My question now is, especially that I am from the University of Eastern Philippines, that our students from our universities coming from different barangays who are challenged of the use of the internet connection. So my question, what is really the best platform in the new normal, the shift from the traditional to the new normal, which is the online learning? Is online learning the best platform? Or if it's not really the best platform, can you suggest other alternatives, specifically also that our teachers and faculty are not really that techy, not used with this recent technology? So can you suggest other alternatives, or from the CHED itself, to have trainings all about this, the use of technology? Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Mom. I understand the concern of connectivity as well as the teacher and the students using the platform as well as computer. But when we decided in our school, we tried to look into the needs and what we can do about our learning as well as for our students. So maybe this suggesting the best platform, I am not the best person to answer that as of the moment. It really depends on the situation of your university or your school or institution. But for St. Paul's, with the guidance of our president, we have zoomed in into Canvas as the better option for us when it comes to online learning, as well as facilitating learning for our students. Maybe Sir Ega can talk more about it, how we were able to come up with this kind of solution. At the same time, on the part of the department, the CHED, maybe the director can also enlighten us on what could be best option for SUCs with this kind of concerns.
Good afternoon to everyone. This is President Alcalab, SPSPS. Recently, we have implemented our flexible learning modes for our students. First, we classified our students into the 3 categories. Category 1, those without internet connectivity at all. Category 2, those with unstable internet connectivity. And category 3, those with stable internet connectivity. So based on that survey of ours, we were able to decide what is the best learning mode that we will deliver to these categories of our students. So for those students with strong or stable internet connectivity, we are adapting the LMS, the Canvas, for them. Now, for those with unstable internet connectivity, we are adapting two learning modes for them. That is our home-based learning mode. Home-based learning, we're in school, we print learning packages for our students that we deliver to their respective towns. So the school created a learning team that will go around the region to deliver the learning packages to our students. So we have assigned a coordinator for each town who will receive the learning packages and will take charge of distributing these learning packages to our students. And then after a certain number of weeks, the learning team will again go around the region and retrieve all the learning packages which we expect will contain the deliverables coming from the students. During that time, that we delivered the learning packages, up to the time that it will be retrieved by our learning team, all our teachers, including the program chairs, the deans, and other learning facilitators, will make themselves available for questions coming from the students, because in St. Paul, all our students, all our college students, they have their respective advisors. So their advisors will take charge that the learning packages were properly delivered to them, will take charge in referring the questions of their advices to the proper person, not necessarily their teacher. So that's the role of our ward advisors in order for our students to have a smooth learning process. So that's how we do it now in SPSPS. It's a combination of e-learning using the Canvas and home-based learning using printed learning packages delivered to our students' respective hometowns and cities. So that's what can I share with what we do here in SPSPS. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Alcala. May we hear from Director Colorado?
Yes, we are encountering this is a first time for all of us. So we are relying really on the initiatives, creativity of the schools in order to meet the requirements of our programs. So each course would require a different kind of approach, especially the highly technical ones. Yung mga social sciences, maybe they are easier. Yung general education, maybe they are easier to meet the requirements for those programs. But for those that are highly technical, requiring real actual experiences, kung nurse ka, ilang beses kang nakapagturok ng syringes, so mga ganun hindi naman pwedeng basahin mo lang yan sa libro, okay ka na. Engineering, in mechanical, you have to run those things and operate while they are running, and you cannot do without real experiences. No? There will be different kind of approaches. So, but we at CHED, this is first time for all of us. No? But we just rely on the schools to pursue our goals, and so that we can achieve them for our students. So right now, of course, you are better off sharing your experiences to each other. Don't rely on us on these things, because you are the ones on the field. Yung mga teachers, yung mga faculty natin, you're better off. And so we'll just hope that things will turn to normal after 1 or 2 years. But in the meantime, we just have to cope. We don't know how long will this problem last. Yes. What they are saying is that probably we are afraid of the second wave or the maybe third wave. So it's better to somehow try to let this thing pass than to be brave and then die. We can recover our economies, our backlogs, but you can no longer bring back the dead to life. That's the problem there. So we better take care of our own selves first, and then of course we have ways to do these things. I understand that really the approach will be like a tutorial type of approach, like what the SPSPS is telling us now. There are some people who will have to, deliver to them these modules, and others will have to go online, and yeah, we'll just have to pursue those things. It's up for the schools to pursue their own innovations on these matters.
Thank you, Director.
Moderator.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Uh,
Yes, please proceed.
President Alcala again here. I would like to share also to the different schools that we are adopting a block system here in SPSPS. So when we say block system, it's one subject at a time. So since, for example, one subject requires 54 hours for a whole semester, we divided the semester into several blocks, because for each block, normally it would take 2 weeks, and that is equivalent to 80 to more than 100 hours. One subject will be assigned to the students to work on it. And then we retrieve the learning packages, and then after the first block, we deliver again the next set of learning packages so that the students will not be overwhelmed with a lot of materials with them. They'll have to focus on a particular subject for a particular period of time. So we call it as the block system. And also, for those subjects with laboratory, we defer the laboratory up to the time that students can be allowed already to go back to school. So this time it will just be more on the lectures and other theoretical parts of the subject matter. We defer the laboratory schedule until they're back to the institution. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any follow-up question from UAP?
Hello, sir. Thank you for those insights, sir. But still, with the shift from the traditional to the new normal, which is really online learning or other offline learning, which the faculty members are still trying to cope with this online. I think our universities having that modalities of going to those different barangays or places in Northern Samar to deliver all those modules, or what the other head from SSPS are trying to say about delivering all those modules. I think the university is on the way of doing that, but still, specifically the nursing in the nursing aspects of learning. The problem is because we really have to teach students the basic foundations, the skills. It's really, our worry is all about the skill, the performance of skill, the return demonstration. So I don't know how can we deliver all those skill performance to our students. That's the problem. But I think with this shift, all of us are trying to be at our best as faculty. So I don't know, the CHED, I think, will be doing something about the training of faculty members about being techie or the use of this different technology. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, we acknowledge from LNU, Blas Johansen Caluza. Please unmute and proceed asking questions to Professor Balberia.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay. Sir, I have some questions. Number one is, have you or did you make a research about the capability of Canvas in terms of connectivity? Like, for example, ang kanyang efficiency to function in a certain strength of internet connectivity, so that we can also prepare for that, because most of our students are most of our students are saying that their internet connectivity is unstable. So maybe we can classify them if Canvas can work in a certain particular strength of bandwidth.
Sir, hello.
Yes, po.
Yeah, sir. I unfortunately I did not do a technical research in terms of bandwidth because I have little to no knowledge about the bandwidths. But the best thing that I did for experimentation is using my mobile phones. Okay, so if I use data connection, will I still be able to satisfy the requirements in Canvas? Because what I did is that I have an account in my phone that is for as a student of my course. So whenever I send requirements to my students, I check it if I can access it in my mobile phone. So that in my part, I can already assess if it can be accessed just using mobile data. Okay, so I can also know where I can reinforce in terms of resources to my students as well as with the course. So, but in terms of technicalities and the bandwidth strength, unfortunately, I have not dealt with deeper research on that one.
Thank you so much for that insights. Kasi yan po parati ang number one question in terms of sa internet connectivity. Sa lahat po yan, I'm sure not only in Tacloban City but other areas in the region wherein there are really very, very slow in terms of internet connectivity, especially if we have presentations that has videos or pictures. So siguro what I can suggest, which what I'm doing in my Edmodo classes is I just usually use text. Everything is text. Kasi po, pag may video na siya, pag may picture na siya, it's very, hard. Matagal ang downloading ng presentation or ng materials natin. So I would like to, for the others who are using. And then my second question is that Canvas is already in the net, right? We don't need to buy a domain. We don't need to buy hosting kasi po nasa internet na siya. All we got to do is to subscribe it and to pay for that, right?
That's right.
My question there is, how can we say the ownership of the materials that we upload in the system? Kasi po, there are cases, there are studies that I attended kasi actually ng isang conference ng EduTech, that there are websites, there are LMS, I am not going to mention that one, that ano siya parang free ang paggamit ng LMS online, or some what do you call this, some open source LMS also na free to download, and yet you need to buy hosting and domain. Opo, nag-upload po tayo ng mga materials. However, there are studies na nakukuha, you know what I mean? Nakukuha yung materials na gawa ng teacher, right? Now, is there a mechanism ng Canvas na sana naman yung material na yan is really for yung para lang kay teacher na yung labit? Kasi nakita ko dito, pwede ko siyang private yung sa Creative Commons and among others, di ba?
Yeah,
so have we tried to or have you encountered some frequently asked questions sa websites nila na ganito ang kanilang mechanism?
Basically, for this kind of aspect, it's also a concern of mine because especially for materials that I am not comfortable sharing it as a learning common for everyone.
Right.
So as of the moment, Canvas can only give you an option of having it as a private content and copyrighted content.
All
Okay.
right.
But you also have the choice if you want it to be available as a learning common for everyone. So
Meaning everybody can download it and share it. Is that what you
yes,
mean?
if you decide to share it as a learning commons for
But for
everyone.
the private, they cannot
It's just
download
only
it.
you. They can't. They can't.
What they can do is only to view that.
They can't even view. People outside of your class
Of your network, of your class, can't
cannot view the class
All right, perfect. That's
unless you give the permission. So,
correct, perfect. All right. Ano ba, nakalimutan ko na question. Ano ba yan? Nakalimutan ko tuloy. Okay. Sa assessment natin. Kasi po, remember that we already transferred from the usual type of syllabus and among others complying with the OBE type. You mean, are you suggesting that we need to recalibrate our syllabus that will fit on the type of flexible learning that we are going to engage on?
well, actually, I still follow the syllabus prescribed by our school. It's just that in terms of delivery of content, we still have control of it as a teacher. Remember, we also has our way on how we deliver this content and the desired learning outcomes. So yes, we have syllabus to follow the contents and prescribed way to do it, but it doesn't limit us teachers also to explore our creative side on what way can we still effectively deliver the desired learning outcomes for our students.
In other words, sir, the quizzes that are in the Canvas is just merely for review purposes. We need, kasi ang assessment dapat is the two of you should be there, the student and the teacher, di ba? Dapat face-to-face siya. Kasi hindi natin ma-assess talaga ang knowledge ng student natin kung remote siya kasi ABCD, multiple choice, hindi yan OBE.
Yes, that's why, sir, on the aspect of the teacher, quizzes, assignments is just one of those assessment tools. And you have your facilitative learning wherein the teacher comes in, making sure that what is being done in that class is not just a review of concept. So assessment can still happen with facilitative learning.
Correct. Now, this is connected to my previous question. Is Canvas has the facility to link, other plugins in the internet available? For example, kasi po ako nagtuturo ng IT sa programming. I can use some emulators, some what do you call this, online compilers to run a program, for example, in Canvas. Can we do that? Kasi other LMS, like for example, sabihin ko na yung Moodle, pwede natin i-link siya. Do we have that mechanism in Canvas, or we just create a page in Canvas where a linking to that website na pwede silang mag-conduct ng kanila? Kasi meron tayong laboratory works, di ba? If we can do that online ng laboratory, then why can't? Why can't, di ba? Can we do that in Canvas?
Actually, sir, as of the moment, I haven't fully explored on that laboratory linkages, so I can't really answer much on that question. But I think I'm not sure with Canvas, but it's very easy to integrate other platforms. So, but I'm not sure with the kind of assessment or the kind of programming platform that you're using. I can't answer that per se because I haven't had the experience of using those kind of things as of the moment. So unfortunately, sir, I can't answer you that on that one.
Meron kasi mga online materials live na pwede tayo, for example, balancing of equation, balancing sa chemistry, ng mga others na pwede natin i-link doon sa Canvas. Meron kasi ganun ng mga klase. Kasi instead of coming to school, why not sa bahay na lang na kaya ko naman gawin, di ba? That's my tawag nun. After all. Anyway, I will ask another question if I have. Thank you so much for your time, and that was very nice presentation, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. We have a question here for Dr. Alcala, sir. From Mary Lilibeth Yan, can you please explain again about the block system of SPSPS?
Oh, okay. Actually, I have discussed it with her privately, but for the sake of the other participants, for SPSPS, we adopted the block system. So for example, if in a semester the student has 8 subjects or 24 units, sabihin natin 33 units lahat. Okay, so we allot 2 weeks for every subject. So during that 2-week period, the student will just focus on the learning for that particular subject. Then after the 2-week period, the next subject uh, will be given to the student naman, no? So in other words, 2 weeks for each subject. So for one semester, so for the 8 subjects, so that would mean 4 months, uh, plus other activities that you might be requiring from them, that will complete one semester. No? So we call it as our block system. So instead of, because at this time we cannot give a lot of information to our students, no? So we need to, what is this? Give it to them. We need to deliver them. We need to require them to learn, to work on one at a time. So that's for this period of crisis. So probably when the students will get back to school, we'll have the traditional way of teaching. But for this time that they cannot go to school, we need to come up with a strategy that will uh, be light for our students. My mandate kasi to my teachers here is make it light for the students. And with the block system, it's not just light for the students, but it's also light for our teachers. So that is our block system. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Alcala. Sir Barnett, there is another question here from SLSU. Maybe you can... Sir, here at SLSU, a number of faculty have been using Schoology for 3 years now. What is the difference between Schoology and Canvas?
Actually, as what I remember, Schoology is still as an LMS, but personally, I haven't had experience using the platform. So I really can't tell at the moment what's the difference, because again, there are tons of available LMS platforms. It's just a matter of finding which one really works and works best for your institution. So as a difference, I am not really familiar with Schoology at the moment. So yeah, I can't answer really much of that.
Thank you, Sir Barnett. I guess we have to wrap up already. Any final words, Sir Barnett? Then we'll proceed to the host school, Dr. Alcala, and finally closing remarks from Dr. Colorado.
All right. So basically, for us in SPSPS, our ability and our independence, our freedom to explore on different learning platforms is actually fueled by the directive of our president. So in terms of finding what is the best platform to use in this learning in the new normal, it really depends on your institution as well as the direction set by the board. But in SPSPS, ever since we've started before COVID, our president has been consistently really pushing us to explore other learning platforms available online. So on our part, we have implemented these things because of a strong push also from our president. So again, this is not a band-aid for all. Everyone can explore their own platform. Everyone can explore their different learning possibilities. It depends on the situation of your institution as well as what is the best for our student. It has always to be the best for our students. So that's, I think, what's important as of the moment.
Thank you, Sir Barnett. May we have, again, Dr. Alcala?
Sir, you have to unmute yourself.
Sorry. So again, good afternoon to everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the Commission on Higher Education, Regional Office number 8, through Director Colorado for organizing this webinar in response to the educational crisis that we are facing. You know, if we do not act fast and effectively, this crisis could erode the gains that we have achieved in the past and bring adverse effects to our stakeholders. So this webinar will certainly add to the set of strategies each of us in our respective schools have established in order to meet this threat head-on. Implementing a learning management, in our case, it's Canvas, for the first time will certainly pose a challenge to the teachers and students. That's why at SPSPS, I have been requiring our teachers as early as 2013, 2014, just right after Yolanda, to use learning management systems, because at that time, I was telling them the day will come that this will be, you know, the tool that we can only use in learning. And I've been telling them also use OBE. So for several meetings, so I've been reminding them to use, and now is the time to make use of all those knowledge. So our teachers, you know, they couldn't complain. They couldn't say that what is this that you're ordering us to implement, because I have been reminding them for the past several years. So that's why when COVID came, it was so easy for us to shift to the flexible learning mode. And you know, for the other school, the best way for you to really identify your strategies is to make a survey about the connectivity of your students. So in our case, we did it last month, surveying the connectivity of our students, and we're able to gather already the information. That's why we were able to take note of their categories. 57% of our students do have stable connectivity. 42% of them, you know, they have unstable connectivity, and only 1% doesn't have connectivity at all. So it was so easy for us to identify who will be under the e-learning and who will be under the home-based learning. So it's not also easy to the administration and of course to the parents, but ultimately, I'm sure everyone will appreciate the convenience that it gives to the learning process. So it's really very convenient, no? Because I see some of our teachers, you know, when they're at our lounge, instead of browsing Facebook, they're browsing their Canvas, looking at the deliverables of their students. So it changed also the, you know, the way our teachers, you know, do their daily tasks. So I hope that in our own little way, SPSPS was able to help you, I hope, no, to finalize your plans for this coming school year. And, you know, through our sharing, and I hope that you were able to learn something from this webinar. I give my big thanks to Professor Balberia for saying yes to my request to conduct this webinar for CHEDRO 8. Thanks to Ma'am Pinheiro for facilitating. May God bless us all as we face the various challenges in this new normal of the educational system. Good afternoon to everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Alcala. May we hear from Director Colorado for his closing remarks?
May meeting yata si Sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay. The director is now with another meeting with Commissioner Darila. So earlier he asked me to, in case there will still be questions, he asked me to give the answer in his behalf. Thankfully, wala ng question. But then there is this closing message from the commission. So at the very start, when we had this COVID thing, especially after the pronouncement for the need for us to go on quarantine, and then there was that directive from the central office to gather strategies or to get the strategies that are being adopted by the HCIs in the region to answer or to face the situation, the COVID situation, and they were pushing for online instruction. So what came into our minds at the regional office was paano na yung connectivity ng mga students. So that is basically the foremost problem of Region 8, connectivity. We have no other option given the situation. We have no other option but to face the challenge. And we thank the St. Paul School of Professional Studies for sharing their experience with other ECIs so that the other ECIs will have an idea how to be able to give effective instruction to the students. This is a new thing. This is first time for all of us. So what we need to do is, or we should look at this crisis as an opportunity to be creative, to be innovative. So we can no longer insist on our traditional ways of instruction, but we need to adapt new systems. As our speaker earlier said, there are so many platforms available, which we can explore. So we expect the CIs to explore different strategies, to explore different platforms so that we'll be able to continue delivering the hopefully quality education that we owe to our students. So we should work as a team, chaired the HCIs, the LGUs, the community. We cannot fight COVID by ourselves. So we need each other, and we need very much the support of the HCIs. CHED cannot do this alone. We really need the support of the HCIs. Again, to St. Paul School of Professional Studies, thank you. To Professor Barnett, sir daw siya ng anak ko. Thank you very much for your time, for sharing your experience, your expertise. And to the school representatives, thank you also for the time to give in order to listen to the webinar that we have just done. So this is now the end thing. We can still meet even if we won't be in a common place. So again, thank you and good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Afternoon.